You ever have one of those moments where everything in you just snaps, like a fuse burning out in a split second, and all the rage you've buried just comes roaring out? Yeah, that was me. The day I heard my own little girl, my sweet, angelic Emily, scream in pain on our front lawn, with Karen standing over her holding a live taser. That was the day everything changed in our neighborhood, and let me tell you, nobody saw it coming, least of all Karen herself. So let me back up a sec. You know the type. Every community's got at least one. Ours was Karen, self-important, power-hungry, always sniffing around for something to complain about. I never backed her when she ran for HOA president, not because I had some vendetta, but because I saw right through her. Told everyone who'd listen, she's gonna turn this place into a circus, mark my words. Of course, folks laughed it off, figured I was being dramatic. But people will hand their keys to the first person who promises order, especially if there are free cupcakes at the voting booth, you know what I mean? So Karen gets elected. Big smiles, lots of back-patting, everyone's thrilled. Except me. I just felt this chill settle in my bones. And she didn't even wait a day. I'm standing at the clubhouse after the results, nursing a cup of bad coffee, when Karen sidles up close, so close. I could count her mascara flakes. She leans in, real low, and says, "I'm going to make this place hell for you." Thought maybe I misheard. Maybe she was just being funny. But those eyes, cold. Hungry, nah, she meant it. I actually laughed, told her to lay off the caffeine. But in the back of my mind, I knew. I'd just become public enemy number one. Next few weeks, it was like living in some banana republic. Except the dictator was a 50-something in a bad wig and yoga pants, clipboard always in hand. I got fined for trash cans out 10 minutes late, for my grass growing an inch too high, for excessive noise when I sneezed in my own garage. You can't make this up. And the kicker? My neighbors could have held a rock concert in their driveway, and nobody would blink. But me? Oh, I was the villain. Then came the letter. Official HOA seal and everything. Open it up, and my jaw about hit the floor. According to Karen, my 7-year-old Emily, yeah, the one who still wears sparkly princess shoes, was now a notorious neighborhood menace, guilty of noise pollution and vandalism. Vandalism? Her crime? Chalk rainbows on the driveway and giggling with her best friend next door. The letter wrapped up with a threat. If disturbances continue, we'll take more extreme measures. Against a kid. My hands shook the whole time I read it. Couldn't believe anyone would stoop that low. But you know, up to that point, I tried to play it cool. Paid the dumb fines, kept my head down, told Emily not to worry. Figured the storm would blow over. But you start coming after my kid, all bets are off. And Karen, well, she had no clue just how much fight I had left in me. For days later, sun shining, birds chirping, everything looking peaceful. Emily and her friend are out on the porch, making chalk art and singing Disney songs, while I grab a drink inside. My phone buzzes, a spam call, naturally, and I step away for maybe 30 seconds. That's when I hear it. This gut-wrenching, blood-curdling scream that cuts through me like a knife. I sprint outside, and the sight that greets me nearly sends me into orbit. There's Karen, standing over my little girl. Her hand locked tight around a taser pressed to Emily's arm, electricity still crackling. I saw red. No, I saw nothing at all for a second, just pure fury and adrenaline. I charged, didn't even think. Just reacted. My open palm caught Karen square on the cheek, sent her sprawling back onto the lawn like a sack of bricks. Neighbors froze. Some started filming, some just stared. Emily was bawling, shaking like a leaf. I scooped her up, checked her over, tried to calm her down. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold her. Karen's on the ground, screeching, holding her face. And now she's shrieking about assault. Assault? She'd just tossed a child. I stood over her, told her not to move, ground the taser into the dirt with my shoe so she couldn't touch it. People started crowding in, whispering, filming. I heard someone say, "She lost her damn mind." Sirens cut through the air, blue and red lights bouncing off every mailbox. Cops everywhere. It was chaos. Cops separated us, put Karen on the curb with a paramedic. One officer took Emily, gentle as could be, got her checked out. Karen starts up with her, "He hit me for no reason," routine. But it's too late. The officer's already got the taser in an evidence bag, Neighbors are waving their phones around, showing the whole thing on video. You could see it in the officer's eyes. They'd seen enough. They took us both in. Procedure, they said. At the station, Emily gets checked. No serious injuries, thank God. I just sit there, running it all back in my head, wondering how the hell things got so twisted. Karen, meanwhile, is working overtime trying to play the victim. She files charges against me, tells anyone who'll listen I attacked her out of nowhere. Her lawyer shows up, all bluster and threats. But here's the twist. My neighbor Greg, the quiet guy who never picks sides, turns out he caught the whole thing on his doorbell cam. Never said a word, just handed the footage over to the police, deadpan as ever. I owe that man a steak dinner for the rest of my life. Court day rolls around, standing room only. Karen makes this big show with a bandage on her cheek, limping like she's auditioning for a soap opera. But the prosecution lays it all out. The taser, medical reports, multiple eyewitnesses, cell phone footage. Greg's video, case closed. The judge doesn't even hesitate. You acted to protect your child from imminent harm. That is not assault. Case dismissed. You should have seen Karen's face, like she'd swallowed a lemon whole. But it wasn't over for her. No, not by a long shot. Karen got charged with assault with a weapon, child endangerment, and the judge ordered her to pay damages, $300 grand for the trauma she caused. 7 years in prison. Banned from ever owning a taser again. The look on her face as they hauled her out. Pure disbelief, like she couldn't fathom that power doesn't mean immunity. The neighbors? They finally saw her for who she was. Not some crusader for order, just a petty tyrant with a badge and a grudge. You think justice was served? Or was it too much? Too little? Or just about right? Let me know what you'd have done. Share your thoughts down below, wherever you're watching from. Don't be shy. And hey, if you want more wild HOA stories and tales of sweet karma, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me, would you have snapped, too? Or was I wrong for letting it get that far? The debate's wide open. I'll be honest, after that court day, I figured life would finally slow down. For the first time in months, Emily could sleep through the night without waking up crying, and I could step outside without checking every shadow for some new, petty act of revenge. The neighborhood felt different too, almost lighter. Neighbors who'd never made eye contact before started waving when they drove by, some even stopping to ask how Emily was holding up. I guess nothing bonds a community like witnessing the mighty fall, right? Or so I thought. But you know how it goes. Just when you think the dust has settled, something else stirs it. Right back up. Let me back up a sec. See, what nobody told me about fighting the HOA president in open court is that, once you win, you become that family. The stories grew legs, ran wild, depending who you asked. I was either the local hero or the hothead who smacked a lady on his lawn. Some people started treating me like I was radioactive, nodding politely, then ducking into their houses the second I passed. Others acted like I was running for mayor, asking for advice about everything from mailbox repairs to property lines. It was weird. Then came the letters. Anonymous, of course. The first one was just a single line. Don't get too comfortable. I laughed, figured it was a joke, until the second letter showed up, then the third. Somebody was trying to get in my head. Maybe stir up the old drama, or maybe just bored out of their mind. I didn't take the bait, but I started keeping the porch light on at night, just in case. You can call it paranoia, or just plain old gut instinct. But after everything with Karen, I wasn't about to ignore the warning signs. One night, not long after, I heard a car idling outside just past midnight. Too late for a neighbor. Too early for the paper boy. I peeked through the curtains and caught the taillights fading down the street. The next morning, Emily's chalk drawings were smeared all over the driveway, like someone had stomped through them on purpose. Nothing huge, but it sent a message. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. And then, just when I thought the universe couldn't throw anything else at us, we met Linda. Now, if you want a twist, here it is. Linda moved in 2 houses down. A retired police detective with a stare that could peel wallpaper and a laugh that sounded like it came from deep in her chest. She heard the stories, of course, but instead of keeping her distance, she dropped by with a batch of homemade cookies and a question. You expecting trouble, or just dealing with the leftovers? We hit it off right away. Maybe trauma recognizes trauma, I don't know. She told me she'd seen HOA bullies before, back in her old neighborhood. and let me know that if I ever needed an extra set of eyes. She had cameras on her porch and wasn't afraid to use them. Sure enough, a week later, her cameras caught someone skulking around our place just after midnight, spray paint in hand. Linda called me before sunrise, already forwarding me the footage. I handed it to the cops, and suddenly the neighborhood went from silent to electric. Rumors flew. Was it a friend of Karen's? Some new troublemaker looking to test the waters? The officer who took the report told me, usually when the top dog goes down, there's always a wannabe waiting in the wings. Ain't that the truth? Emily bounced back faster than I did. Kids are like that. They find sunlight even after the worst storms. But I found myself locking doors twice, glancing over my shoulder, not quite trusting the calm. Linda became a regular at our kitchen table, swapping old police stories with me and making Emily laugh until milk came out her nose. If Karen was the villain of this story, Linda was the surprise hero, the kind you never see coming but thank your lucky stars when they show up. I guess what I learned is that every neighborhood's got its secrets, its alliances, its silent wars, and when you stand up to one bully, sometimes you just attract a different kind. But I'd do it all over again, no question, because protecting my daughter is the hill I'll die on every time. Now, maybe you think I should have moved, started fresh somewhere nobody knew our names, but let me ask you, when someone tries to chase you out of your own home, isn't that just handing them the victory? Nah, not for me. This is our house, our street, our memories, stamped right into the concrete, rainbows and all. We're staying put. So here's the real question. Is peace ever permanent in a place like this? Or are we all just waiting for the next storm? Have you ever stood your ground against something bigger than you? HOA, neighbor, whatever? Drop your stories below. Let's get a real conversation going. And if you stuck around for all this, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share your own battle scars. Because in the end, every neighborhood's got a story. This one just happens to be mine.